Greetings, 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 smileys. This is your girl on No More Show here, and I have another something to say. And let me just say this disclaimer right off the bat is I'm not here to be a judge. I'm here to be a guide. So, I was just telling one of the parents on the phone that I have a gift. And one of my gifts is that I'm able to see both sides of a story. Like I'm unbiased. And let me just tell you, that's a gift. Being unbiased is a gift. Being able to be like, I can see what you're saying and I can also see what you're saying. And the gift is in the middle. So I'm able to see just if they can like tweak this one thing, then the machine can, you know what I'm saying? It'd be like one little boat that be like sticking up and you keep getting caught in that same boat. And it's like, well, if you just like screw it in a little more or like get your wrench and then you won't have to keep bumping into it as you spin. So I'm able to kind of see those little fixes that need to take place. But just because it's a little fix doesn't mean it's not challenging to fix. Because both parties have to kind of be in a mental state where they're able to be vulnerable and hold themselves accountable at the same time. And a lot of us have a lot of ego, so that's not always possible. But, it's just something that we can work on. It always is so astonishing to me that these families live together and they're so far apart. Like, in my household, my children know me. Like, I am not walking around my house with an armor on. I'm not walking around my house with a cape on. I am myself at home. I am crying. I get angry. I get sad. I get depressed. I express symptoms of anxiety. I overeat. I undereat. I am nervous. All of those emotions I express. And not only do I express it because sometimes you can tell. You can see on some people clearly what their emotion is. But then the other side of that is communicating it. So yes, if I'm frustrated, I'm frustrated. It don't mean take it personal. It doesn't mean that you're the cause of my frustration, but I'm just letting you know in this moment, if I pop off on you, I apologize. It's because I'm frustrated. So just give me a minute. Sometimes it takes that extra step to be able to communicate how you feel so a person knows where to meet you at or when to leave you the fuck alone. And that's okay. It shouldn't be anyone taking it personal what I need. Why are you taking it personally what I need? Unless you're responsible for making me feel how I feel, you shouldn't feel guilty. And if you feel some kind of way, then that's all on you. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm already working on my own shit, bruh. So. Anyway, that's one thing. The other thing is, because we do live with these people, even if they're little people, young people, teenagers, other grown-ups, they know you damn near better than you know yourself. So, stop trying to pull wool over open eyes. Let me say that again. Stop trying to pull the wool over open eyes. Your children know exactly what the fuck is going on. Like, children are not stupid. A lot of these children have been here before. They've lived more lives than we have. Because my oldest daughter has definitely lived more lives than I have. She definitely has lived more lives than I have. So, yeah. If you have a relationship, long distance with someone, and then all of a sudden you're moving to that place where that someone lives. And then if you're moving that person in, or if you're finding a place where you're going to move in together, and then your child starts to feel neglected because of this new relationship, stop trying to make it seem like it's the child's fault. Stop trying to make it seem like the child is doing something wrong in order to justify your bullshit. They are going to be able to see that shit. They're going to be able to know and communicate later on down the road. My mom, up and moved for a dude. Or, yeah, my dad relocated us to be with a woman. And then the person was all up in here, all up in our house like they running things. And then next thing you know, all of that anxiety and depression and stuff that was built up in my mom, guess what? It's pouring out into me. Now she's mad at me for no reason, and we beefing for no reason, and all this stuff is just happening because of this relationship she decided to move for. And then you make it seem like the child did something wrong. And they're just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And why aren't you being real with me? Why aren't you being real with yourself? And why aren't you being real with all the other people that's involved in this situation? But your ego is so big that instead of apologizing to your child for the decisions that you made and how it affected them, you rather continue like ain't nothing happened. You rather continue like you ain't did shit wrong. Instead of being vulnerable and holding yourself accountable and telling that child, you know what? I know why you are the way you are. And I want to apologize for how I ever made you feel. I'm growing too, baby. I'm growing right along with you. It doesn't matter the age. Because you know what? Our true age comes with our healing process. Now I truly feel like I can age because I'm finally moving forward. So many of us have been hurt so bad and have went through so many traumatic experiences that we cannot move forward. And so life is just happening around us and we can't even participate in it because we can't move forward. Why? Because we are scared to be vulnerable with people and we're not even telling ourselves the truth. We're not holding ourselves accountable for our actions and our decisions, and then being vulnerable with the people who were involved and apologizing and saying, yes, that's exactly what I did. Yep, you throwing it up in my face that I moved us here for a man. And you know what? That's exactly what I did. Keep it real. Y'all still want to continue on this facade, like you still want to carry it on and yell back and forth with your child when at the end of the day, they're trying to communicate to you how damaged they are from the decision you made. And you still can't even hold yourself accountable and be vulnerable. Let down that shield around your children. Let down that shield. Because eventually they're going to see right through that bullshit and they're going to see how fake you are. It ain't about your strength. It ain't about how assertive you are. It's not about none of that. They're going to be like, damn, like, my mom treated me like that all because of what the fuck she was going through. Like, why couldn't she just tell me that? Why couldn't she just tell me that she was raped when she was 12? That might have changed the whole trajectory of our relationship. Damn, like, why couldn't my mama tell me that her mom died at birth and she was raised by a psychopath? Like, why didn't she never tell me that? These are teenagers now, y'all. Come on. By the time a kid get 9, 10, 11, 12, come on. Let them know the real you. You have to be real with them. Or these kids are going to have that same facade. They're going to be walking around with that same like they're going to be the same people that is unable to hold themselves accountable and be vulnerable with the people that's closest to them. Like, these are your children. Come on, parents. Come on, y'all. At some point, listen, if you got a child that's running away, if you got a child that's suffering from depression, anxiety, if you got a child that's on any kind of psychoactive medication, if you have a child that has tried to commit suicide before, if you have a child that has been molested, raped, taken advantage of, if you had a child that's been homeless, if you had a child that's lost a family member, a close loved one, a grandparent, an uncle, if you have a child that has been bullied, all of these are situations that should present us with the flag that it's time to talk. It's time for me to be vulnerable with my child so that they know I know where they're coming from. A lot of these children don't believe that their parent can relate to what they're going through because their parent never talked about going through it. Come on, y'all. It's a young woman right now that's contemplating killing herself because she was raped and she feel like she can't tell nobody about it. But she lives with someone who experienced being raped and they refuse to be vulnerable enough to talk to her about it. But if that person just can become vulnerable enough to talk to her about it, it can save her life and change her life for the better. It is imperative that we learn to be a little more honest with the people that we're raising. Because us being able to have a little bit of vulnerability and hold ourselves accountable can change our lives forever. So, I feel like I babbled, but I hope that in my babbling, somebody caught the message. Now, not everybody's going to agree with what I'm saying, and that's all right. But if this video helped, please share it, like it, subscribe, comment, all those things. Because you are loved, you are worthy to be loved, you exude love. There's love all around you. You just gotta find it sometimes. There's always gonna be somebody negative. But let me tell you something. You have more control over your life than you give yourself credit for. You do not have to stay where you're uncomfortable. You have more control over it than you think. Nothing comes to a dreamer but a dream. Whew. All right. So that concludes my little spiel. And I just pray that we can do away with the ideology that we can't be friends with our children. Because my children fulfill me in ways that other people cannot. My children fill me up in ways that other people, that it's impossible for other people to do. Now, I'm not saying that they don't get on my nerves. I'm not saying that we don't argue. I'm not saying that there aren't bad times. But I can apologize to my child when I'm wrong, and they can apologize to me when they're wrong. And we have learned to communicate more effectively with one another. We have learned that not all of us can come and sit around at a family meeting and have a civil talk. Some of us need to write down what we want to say and present it to the meeting. Some of us need the talking stick so that whoever's holding the stick has the floor, and that prevents us from talking all over each other. Like, you have to learn your communication style. You have to learn what works, because what works for one person doesn't work for the next. The punishment that works for your one child might not work for your next child. The resilience that one of your children has may not be the same resilience that the other child has. So you have to be careful. One kid, you might can scream, cuss them out, and y'all still be the best of friends, but that might not work for the other child. That might be more damaging for them. These children are not all built the same. But I tell you something. My children are literally my best friends. We have boundaries set. They know what disrespect is. They know what I will tolerate, what I won't tolerate, what pushes my buttons. They know what makes me happy, what makes me smile, my favorite kind of cereal, my favorite kind of movies to watch, my favorite places to go, my favorite hobbies. They know what life was like for me as a child. It's all right, y'all. It's all right. It's going to be all right. And I love y'all. I'll see y'all soon. Peace.